Hey, this is Chris. I'm a hospice nurse and ordained minister. Are you struggling with chronic health conditions that are seeming to be out of control? Maybe your health has just been declining faster than you expected it to. Maybe a doctor has given you a terminal diagnosis and recommended that you consider hospice care. Maybe you just want to begin end-of-life planning and to get on top of what you might expect. And maybe you're a loved one of somebody who is suffering, a family member, a caregiver, and you just want to be prepared or need help and education to know how to deal with those situations surrounding end of life. Well, this video is going to outline what we're going to do at PastorChrisRN to help families prepare for a beautiful sunset in that final moment, days of life. Takes preparation, and we want to help families and loved ones prepare well for what's in store in the future. So stay with us and let's start creating a beautiful sunset together.
Welcome to PastorChrisRN. Life is a journey. May it end in a beautiful sunset. Pastor Chris loves to share his knowledge to make that possible.
Hey, this is Chris again. My goal is to help families create beautiful sunsets for their loved ones at the end of life. You know, death and dying is something that happens to everyone, but we don't like to think about it. Yet at the same time, when that moment comes for either ourselves or if you have a loved one, someone you care about that is approaching the end of their life journey, it's something that we need to train for, to plan for, to understand how we can make the best possible sunset, the best possible end of life to those that we love and care about. Think of life as a journey. It begins with a sunrise on the day of our birth and a life full of hope and promise. And as we go through the day, moment by moment, hour by hour, we find out that life isn't all that we expected or planned it to be, but yet nonetheless, life goes on. Time passes, and all of a sudden we come to the realization that the day is about over and the sun is setting. And that's what happens with us. We can't stop time from passing, and day by day we get closer to the time of our own sunset. And as that time approaches, we can either hide ourselves away in a basement hoping that the sun won't set, but it still will set, or we can find ourselves on a grassy bank of a lake experiencing a beautiful sunset. It's all about the environment that we create when the sunset happens. And we want to create beautiful, wonderful environments for our loved ones. You know, my dad, as he faced old age into his 80s, and before he passed away, he said, whoever called old age the golden years is lying. And it's true. Old age is hard. Our bodies start to break down. We struggle. We see loved ones we care about who could do so much, who were so strong for all their lives, all of a sudden struggling to do things. And for many, the sunset years are full of chronic medical conditions like dementia, diabetes, kidney disease, liver disease, COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or heart failure. People suffer heart attacks and stroke that alter the trajectory of their health. And there's nothing that we can do once those things happen to get back to the way things were before. And these chronic medical conditions are managed by doctors as best they can. They manage them as doing everything they can using both the science and the art of medicine. But there comes a time where the healthcare providers come and say, we've pulled everything out of our bag of tricks. We've done everything we know to do, and it's just not working anymore. We need to think about palliative care. That is comfort care. We need to be thinking about how to keep you comfortable as you face the remaining months and weeks and days of your life. And we want to focus on that and talk about those kinds of issues. A terminal diagnosis really does bring to the forefront our mortality. And maybe this is what you're dealing with now. Maybe it's a loved one, someone you really care about that has a terminal diagnosis. And this is an incredibly hard place to be in. You become aware that the sun is setting on your life or the life of a loved one. And that ignorance of what do we do? I don't know what to do. That can bring fear. And with that fear comes anxiety. And anxiety can rob you and everyone around you of the remaining joy and significance that can be enjoyed in the final months of life. In my next video, I'm going to share the story of my dad and his sunset. We'll look at how he dealt with the news of his terminal diagnosis and how it made all the difference in the world to my mom, to me and my family, and to my brother and his family. When facing a sunset, it's a good thing to plan for the end of the day. That is, end-of-life planning makes for a more beautiful sunset. When everyone knows what to expect and some important details are taken care of, then everyone can focus on the most important thing, which is relationships. A large part of what I'm planning for this channel is training and education on how to approach the end of life, on disease processes so people can know what to expect, and also the benefits of hospice care, particularly early hospice care. Mostly due to misunderstandings of hospice care, there is still a large minority of people who don't avail themselves of this benefit provided by Medicare and Medicaid, and also many private insurance carriers. Even more sadly, most families wait way too long to get their loved ones on hospice. My dad was an example of someone who had a beautiful sunset because he planned for the end of his life. His family understood the disease process, and he got on hospice care while he was still driving, taking my mom out to eat, going to church, leading church ministries, and he was still seeing doctors for issues not related to his terminal diagnosis. I strongly believe that the hospice team that provided for his care lengthened his life and certainly greatly increased the quality of his life in the last 6 months he was alive. But all that's for the next video. We will be releasing videos weekly, so please ask questions you'd like for me to answer in the comments. I'm going to focus on those questions that people are asking to provide you with relevant health information. I want to make sure that you're aware of what options you have. However, I'd also strongly recommend that you talk to your healthcare provider. This is an educational channel. I am not a healthcare provider. I don't know your personal medical situation. I don't want you to avoid seeing a doctor. Dr. Google, Dr. YouTube are not the best healthcare providers. They can provide wonderful, good information that you can take action on. But I would urge you to see a regular healthcare provider, or to have your loved one see a healthcare provider that knows the specifics of your situation. You are truly unique, and you should be making decisions in consultation with a primary healthcare provider. But we do want to give you lots of education, information, training. What do I do when my loved one is incontinent and bedbound? What do I do when they're having a pain crisis? How do I deal with confusion? What do I do when they don't seem to want to be eating anymore? We're going to be talking about all these things and much more. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Every Friday we'll be releasing videos. We may also release videos on Tuesday or Wednesday, but that won't be a regular thing. That will be just kind of like a bonus extra. But please stay tuned. And until next time, let's create some beautiful sunsets together.
Hi, this is Beth. I am Pastor Chris's daughter. Please help my dad share his knowledge with others. You can start by asking questions in the comments that you would like him to answer and like this video. We really do want to make this into a supportive community, so please consider subscribing to this channel. And lastly, ring that notification bell so you are aware when we release new videos. Until next time, this is Beth with Pastor Chris RN. Let's start building those beautiful sunsets together.